NFA, Nature and Fantasy Artists. While using references, be creative, use your imagination, don't rely too heavily upon copying someone else's work, put your own twist on it. Use a mixture of different references and your own ideas in an image to make something unique. Although freedom to choose your own subject is important, there should be some realism within the image rather than just abstract designs. Pictures are worth 1,000 words. Try to have your image tell a story or have a meaning. It doesn't matter if you're the only person who understands this meaning. Other people can take whatever they choose to from viewing your work. Use some obvious outlining in the work. The media of choice we use will be acrylics, pens, pencils and inks. Do not create work that is considered by the majority to be disgusting or nasty. Consider what you think is aesthetically pleasing. Artwork involving nature and fantasy themes are main focuses for this group. These themes do not need to be main subjects, however they do need to be somehow integrated into every piece of art. Fantasy and nature are broad themes and encompass many different areas. The variety of life we share our planet with is fascinating. The land itself and the natural hazards of it, such as canyons, mountains, caves, volcanoes and waterfalls, are as beautiful as they are dangerous. However, despite the hazards in all of these places, life still thrives. The conditions creatures can live in are amazing, as we mostly rely on equipment and technology to survive in these areas, but animals adapt specifically to cope with the extreme conditions of these locations. As well as being interested in the existing creatures and environments, this group will also look at the creatures humans have created that exist in myths and legends. Fantasy beasts have come about partly perhaps because of exaggerations that people have created when they tell tales of living creatures. For instance, a tale about an unusually large lizard, perhaps a Komodo dragon or monitor lizard, could through time turn into a story of a fantastically large lizard with wings and fiery breath. The sheer number of tales about various fantasy creatures never ceases to be surprising. There are also at times worldwide stories of the same type of creature. Dragons are a good example of this. The worlds created in fantasy do tend to have a basis in things we know about, such as caves, woodlands, meadows and castles. There is sometimes the odd tweak, such as instead of simply having a castle, it's a floating castle. So fantasy settings mostly seem to be surprisingly ordinary, but they only need a few things to be changed a little bit to suddenly make them seem more magical. They are a form of escape from the real world, which is part of what makes them so fun to create. This may sound simple, but artists should have fun when they create their work. Do something you enjoy doing without worrying about others' opinions of it. The idea behind art that is interesting is the act of creating something from nothing and seeing when you make good progress in your work. Just don't feel intimidated by what you start off with, which is basically a blank. Instead, think of the possibilities of what you can do with this blank space.